We are talking about the big game between Wales and Ireland, which takes place on Friday night. What will the result be of Friday's Rugby Six Nations game between Wales and Ireland? Will it be a Wales win? Will it be an Ireland win? Or will it be a draw? Love to get your thoughts on that. And in fact, we're going to get top thoughts now from Ryan Sidle. Ryan is a writer for the Sports Bible. Ryan now joins me live on Skype. Good morning to you, Ryan.
Good morning, Richard. How's it going?
Very good. How much are you looking forward to this weekend of sport, Ryan?
Oh, it's going to be an incredible weekend. I think the Six Nations will be excellent. The FA Cup as well, and this Premier League action as well. It's great, and it kicked off last night. I was watching Wigan versus Warrington, and that was amazing as well.
Oh, fantastic. So if there's one thing you're looking forward to the most, what might it be?
Probably the Calcutta Cup game between England and Scotland on Saturday.
Well, we'll get on to that in just a moment. Let's first talk about the game between Wales and Ireland. Both teams have named unchanged 15s. Do you think that was a right call to not make any changes for either side?
I think it's a little bit surprising with Wales that they've obviously got Toby Faletau on the bench, who was coming back off an injury, but he's been on the bench for the last 3 games. Considering how they're playing, I'm a little bit surprised. Ross Moriarty's been very good, but Faletau can probably be a little bit unlucky. And maybe could have seen a change, see Sam Davis start as well, just because they're a little flat. They need a little bit of something. But obviously Rob Howley wants to trust the players, the experienced players that are there. For Ireland, it's a little bit, probably a bit better. They had a very good performance against France. They did what they had to do. They ground out a result. They're probably in a better position. And so it's less surprising that they've not changed anything.
Criticism of George North as well recently, Ryan. Is it a good decision to keep him in the side, do you think?
I think with North, there's not loads of options that Wales have got. Obviously, when he was injured, they tried Alex Cuthbert. Cuthbert's very short of confidence. He probably shouldn't have been picked in the first place. So it would be a mistake to double down on that and pick him again. North is a fantastic player. He's one of the best wingers in the world, and he's absolutely destructive. If you can get the ball to him, and if he's allowed to do that, then absolutely you've got to keep him in the side. He's not on form right now, but he's capable of things that nobody else in the Wales squad is capable of, and therefore they almost have to keep him in.
Overall, what do you think have been the problems for Wales in this campaign? 2 defeats now against Scotland, against England. It's not been going very well for them. They could get a little bit of pride back against Ireland. They're out of contention. Where have you seen some of their key problems in this tournament?
Well, it's a strange one. Against England, they were excellent. Better against England than they were certainly in the first 40 minutes against Italy. And it was just a huge lack of composure that let them down in the last few minutes, and that makes and that is the sign of great Test rugby players. Whether or not you can keep that composure, whether you can dig in and grab that result at the end and make it really scrappy. The defeat against Scotland was a whole different thing. Again, they played well for the first 40 minutes. They were ahead. They should have been. Testing my memory here. I think it should have gone. I can't remember exactly, but they missed a penalty anyway towards the end of the first half, and then Scotland went up the other end and scored their own penalty. So that's essentially a 6-point swing around. And then in the second half, to get 0-20 by Scotland in the second half, there was clearly something wrong there. Whether that was leadership, I'm not completely sure what their problem was. They've got a fantastic side. They're trying to move away from Warren ball a little bit, and maybe there's confused thinking between trying to play a bit more rugby and trying to play Warren ball. But I mean, their big name players have to step up, because Warren Gatland cannot pick a lot of those Welsh players at the moment for the Lions tour in the summer playing the way they're playing.
Ireland have been the top try scorers in this tournament. Are we going to see them getting a few more tonight? Are we expecting them to win? Do we think that this Six Nations could go to a last weekend, Ryan?
Well, again, Ireland have to win, because if they lose and England win, then that's it. England have won the Six Nations. If they lose and Scotland win, then they let Scotland back into the equation, and Scotland could win. the Six Nations. Whether so, Ireland they losing Scotland, they have to win this game. Again, they're playing well. They played well. They lost to Scotland, but Scotland were brilliant. They played well against Ireland and ground out results. They still have that win against New Zealand not that long ago to fall back on. I would expect Ireland to win this, but it is at the Millennium Stadium. Sorry, it's not the Millennium Stadium anymore. But it is in Wales. It is in Cardiff. So anything can happen with it being an away game.
It was the Millennium Stadium to me when Brighton went up in 2004. So it'll always be the Millennium Stadium to me, Ryan. We can keep it that way. Don't worry about that.
Good.
We can't keep up with all of this sponsorship nonsense all the time.
Yeah.
So those are just one of those things which happen. So Ryan, let's move on to the Calcutta Cup now, and we have England versus Scotland. Scotland are quickly becoming the Leicester City of international rugby because they're amazing at home but terrible away. Would this game be different if it was at Murrayfield?
Absolutely. I mean, I was actually at Murrayfield for the Scotland-Wales game. The crowd, the atmosphere was incredible. They willed them on. I mean, right towards the end, the tiniest things were being cheered as they knew that they were finally getting their first result over Wales in 10 years. If it was at Murrayfield, absolutely Scotland would have a much better chance. But despite the fact that they're rubbish away, and despite the fact that England are incredible at Twickenham and have this unbeaten record that doesn't look like going away, Scotland have a chance on Saturday. England and Eddie Jones will know that. This Scotland team playing the way that they're playing, with the likes of Hogg and Seymour and Visser, who can finish, a good midfield, an excellent back row, the Gray brothers in the second row, they have a chance on Saturday, absolutely.
And it's 17 wins under Eddie Jones. They could equal the New Zealand record of 18. How impressed have you been with this England side? Because they haven't been that impressive at times in this tournament, have they?
No, absolutely not. They struggled against Italy because of Ruckgate. It took them 40 minutes to work that out. That won't have pleased Eddie Jones in the slightest. He's brought back the non-finishers into the side. The likes of Ben Teo dropped back onto the bench to become the finishers. He's got Big Billy Vunipola back on the bench as well. England have been very impressive, even when they haven't been impressive. That the fact that they are still winning when they're not playing great, that's one of those things that we say is a sign of a great team. The fact that they're on the cusp of equaling the All Blacks record, it won't make them better than New Zealand, even if they beat that record, even if they beat Scotland this week, and beat Ireland the week after. That's not necessarily the sign that they're better than that All Black side. That All Black side won the World Cup in their run. England will have just won 2 Six Nations, but it's still a fantastic record. It's still something to be proud of. Jones has absolutely massively turned this side around, and they are impressive. And they've not been at full strength this whole tournament. And when you think like that, they're getting there. They're getting back to there. There's still Rob Shaw to come back. There's still Vunipola to come back. And both Vunipolas to start. George Cruz is still out. Not Courtney Laws. Mario Itoje could still move back into the second row. So there's still ways to improve this side. And Anthony Watson comes back in. You forget some of the players that are still out missing because it's an incredible side that are doing incredible things. So yeah, massively impressed. But they have a big task on their hands on Saturday, and they have to concentrate on beating Scotland and not on the record.
Yeah, massive turnaround from that aberration that was England at the 2015 World Cup. And of course, Ryan, you mentioned about winning when not playing well. You're a United fan, so you know all about that when you've won titles before. We'll talk a bit about United. We'll talk a bit about football in one moment. Let's just wrap this rugby up. It's Italy versus France as the final game in the Six Nations this weekend. You mentioned Ruckgate. There were talks before the Italy-England game about how there should potentially be some promotion into the Six Nations. Teams talked about Georgia, potentially Romania. Was this a good tactical performance by Italy in that first half against England, or were they clutching at straws?
You know what? What Italy did was within the rules. It caused panic within the England team, which is something that a lot of sides have struggled to do under Eddie Jones. Is panic and worry this England side. So it might not have been pretty. It might not have been pure rugby, and it might not have pleased Eddie Jones. But that's not Conor O'Shea's job. Is not to please Eddie Jones. Conor O'Shea's job is to try and get results. Is to try and push Italy forward. And if he has to throw in some surprise tactics every now and again, then so be it. If Italy had rocked up to Twickenham and played normal or normal rugby and played the way that everybody expected them to, England would have absolutely run over them. It would have been 60 points in the first half. And what's the point? Why turn up and be like that? It's a non-league side or a lower league side in an FA Cup game turning up. Are they going to necessarily play out and out attacking football, or are they going to sit back and maybe try and play on the break? And it was a little bit like that. And yeah, it was a very odd tactic. Conor O'Shea won't be doing that again this week, but there might be another surprise.
In that way, though, Ryan, the way you speak about that, you're effectively calling them Lincoln against Arsenal, which is happening in the FA Cup. Lincoln aren't in the Premier League. Well, the Six Nations is effectively the Premier League of international rugby. Then should it go back to a Five Nations?
No, look, no, absolutely not. I mean, another comparison. Even Leicester winning the Premier League last season played counter-attacking football. They didn't play into their opponent's hands, and Burnley don't play into their opponent's hands. And if you play into your opponent's hands, you'll find yourself getting relegated or bottom of the league. You have to try something. Italy aren't possibly where they need to be, but it's not an easy case of relegating them, making it a Five Nations, or promoting Georgia and knocking Italy out. It's unfair on Italy. They've plowed a lot of money into the game. They're trying a lot, and also it's not good for the development of the game. Yeah, fine, Italy might not be at the level that the other five are, but they're never going to. You'll never grow the game of rugby if you just replace someone because they're not great. You have to allow them longer to set themselves up and to get their structure right. There's been a lot of talk about whether having Chiraviso and Zebra as two separate sides in the Pro 12 is a good idea. And so little things have to change. There's so much Conor O'Shea and any coaching board can do, and there's so much the Italian board of rugby have got to do. And we have to find what it is that makes Italy better and improves world rugby.
All right, Ryan, it's been really good to hear your thoughts on everything to do with the Six Nations. 3 huge games to look forward to this weekend.